Dear Ellen, when Mum came in earlier, she asked if I wanted to go into town. Something about it not being healthy to be cooped up in my room all day. You know what mothers are like. So I gave in. You have to just let them have their own way sometimes, don't you? And let her bring me into town. At least it meant getting away from the future #1 Ireland striker and a self-obsessed running commentary. Mum was being all cheery and talking about it being just us girls, and how nice it was to have a little shopping trip on our own, and how glad she was to have a daughter to share these things with, and not just boys like Aunt Pat. I played along and nodded and smiled, but I was wishing you were in the back seat so I could roll my eyes at you. For the whole drive in and the walk from the car park to Java Bay, she was all merry and cheerful, bustling along, yapping on and on about golf and Aunt Pat's 40th birthday party and Dad's new lawnmower and Jamie's football match tomorrow, blah blah blah. I couldn't get a word in edgeways, which was fine with me because there was nothing I wanted to say. Then we're sitting having lunch and the waitress brings over tea for Mum and pink lemonade for me with 2 straws as usual. And Mum sees the 2 straws and suddenly dissolves into tears. That's what it was like. Not bursting into tears, that's too dramatic. Her face started to crumble or melt or something, and she put her hand up to her forehead. But I could still see the tears leaking out from under her fingers, and the edges of her mouth all sort of droopy looking. And her shoulders were sort of trembling a bit. Not those big heaving sobs you get when you're really, really upset. Just like she was trying very hard to stay still, but somehow her body didn't want to. I didn't know what to say. There was nothing to say. She's my mother. She's the one who's supposed to be looking after me. So I just sipped my pink lemonade with one of the straws and stared at the table, wondering if all those shortbread crumbs were ours, or if they just hadn't cleared the table after the last customers. The waitress came tiptoeing over and put a concerned hand on Mum's shoulder and held a wad of napkins out to her. Mum pressed the napkins to her nose and took a couple of deep breaths, like she was trying to calm down. People were staring at us at this stage. I didn't look around, but I could feel their eyes on us. You know how you just know you're being watched. I said, "Oh, do pull yourself together, Mum," in my best Mallory Towers voice, and took another slurp of my pink lemonade. Mum and the waitress laughed. The waitress uncertainly, as if she wasn't really sure if I was making a joke or not, and Mum in a sort of trembly, trying to be strong way, like she did when she told me I needed my tonsils out, and I asked if I could live on ice cream for a week. I think Mum finally realised people were looking at us, because she started gulping down her tea and told me to finish my lemonade. I tried, but you know how big those glasses are, and suddenly there was an enormous lump in my throat which even pink lemonade couldn't seem to shift. She put on her cheerful voice again, slightly more shaky this time, and hurried me out of the cafe and off in the direction of Ozzy's. I didn't even realise she knew about the boots, but there she was asking the assistant if they had the black ones in yet. The assistant said they did, and asked Mum if they were for her or her little sister. Mum did her tinkly little laugh and said that I was her daughter. Like the assistant didn't know that. She probably thought if she flattered Mum enough she would buy matching pairs for the 2 of us. Ugh, can you imagine? Mum told her my size, and the girl produced a pair from the stockroom. They were every bit as nice as in the magazine. Enough of a heel to give me a bit of extra height, but not so much as to have Dad tut-tutting about not having any daughter of his going out dressed like a tramp. I always pretend to misunderstand him when he says things like that, and say that I thought tramps wore patchy old clothes, and battered hats, and shoes with holes in them, tied up with string instead of laces. Drives him mad, and he mutters, "You know very well what I mean, young lady." Anyway, the boots were gorgeous, though I suddenly decided I wanted the purple ones. Mum said she thought I wanted the black ones, because they'd go with more stuff. But I said no, it was definitely the purple ones I wanted. So she got the girl to bring out a pair of the purple ones, and I tried them on. Perfect. But the lump in my throat was somehow getting bigger, and I could only nod when Mum asked if I was happy with them. I wandered off to look at some of the children's shoes, trying hard to focus on the pink flowery ones with the little straps across the front, the kind we would have begged our mums to buy when we were about 6 and really uncool. Out of the corner of my eye I could see the girl wrapping up the boots and ringing it up on the till, and Mum handing over her laser card. €120, just like that. I tried a little boy's runner on my hand and made it walk along the shelf so the lights lit up at the back, little flashes of red. Mum came over with the boots in a big box inside a bag and said something about the box coming in handy for storing my art stuff. I put the runner back, wondering if they made them with different coloured lights, or was it always red? Mum asked if I'd rather carry the boots myself, but I shook my head, and we left the shop and walked back towards the car. I'm wearing the boots now. I can see them in the mirror at the end of my bed. They're lovely, and you were right, they are much cooler than the black, and who cares about being practical? But somehow the excitement is gone. It's an anticlimax or something. They're just boots, after all.